Well, hello my friends, I hope you're doing well. I realize that a lot of you that come to this channel and watch these videos, actually more than 80% of you are not subscribers to my channel. So first of all, I want to say, because I don't say it very often, if you are new around here, I would love for you to subscribe. If you are new to this channel, you may not know that I also have a podcast. Today, I wanted to do another kind of solo thoughts podcast and release it because I think that these are valuable. It allows you to kind of jump into my brain and my thought process behind certain things, and maybe they'll be valuable to you, maybe they'll be helpful to you in your journey as well, because as I process things in real time and I talk about things in real time, a lot of things come up that actually end up being more valuable to me than anything when I actually speak them. So that's kind of what this podcast is all about, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So let's get to it. This is something that's been like super on my mind lately. And here's the thing that I think I battle all the time. And I think this is something maybe some of you are going through as well. When you start to get busier in a business, when you start to have more things to do, you kind of get in this situation of, should I hire someone? And I think the dilemma that we all kind of face is, or that we should always constantly think about is, are we hiring somebody to do the work because we don't want to do the work? Or are we hiring somebody to do the work because if we took that time and spent it more wisely elsewhere, would there be more benefit and growth in business? Because I think I find myself every once in a while wanting to hire people to do certain things because I don't feel like doing them. But that's not necessarily a bad thing if I think that I'd get a better result by someone else doing it because they are more interested in doing it. So like, for example, with wedding edits, I could sit down and be honest and tell you I don't like editing weddings whatsoever. So I'd rather have somebody do that. But in turn, me having someone do that, I think I get a better result from the wedding film. So it's not as much of a lazy thing because I don't feel like editing, so I'd rather have someone else. But I think that if I have someone that can edit the weddings better than I can, which naturally will happen when someone has more ambition to do it, then I get a better result. So I'm always trying to fight that battle, though, of am I being lazy or am I being smart with my time? If I take 20 hours to edit a wedding film, if I hire someone else and they take 20 hours to edit it, can I do something more useful with my 20 hours that is my skill set? And I think that that's something as a business owner you always have to kind of be thinking about, because as a business owner and a small business owner where I only have, one or two people that actually work for me, there's a lot of things that I'm always juggling. And some of those things are really tedious stuff like invoices and leads and follow-ups and meetings and admin stuff and doing all the business thing and taxes and all that. There are some things that just aren't fun, but they take up time, but they're also like vitally important. I can't skip those things. But there are also certain things in that field that I'm realizing maybe I can hire people to do certain aspects of those, because as a business owner that I feel has skill sets in things like meeting with clients and landing jobs and overseeing people that are actually doing the work that I have coming at me, I feel like I can better use my time to get more work and continue to hire more people, or even put more time into YouTube content or wedding film school content. But there are a lot of things that I can get rid of that I think if I took that time that I was getting rid of and put it into something more beneficial, more work would come out of it. So I do think I'm trying to fight that balance, and I think a lot of you might be as well. A lot of you that are new into business, whether it's wedding cinematography, whether it's just video production in general, right now you're kind of a one-man show. And there's definitely advantages of being a one-man show, because obviously your overhead is extremely low. You kind of make all the decisions, you do every aspect of it. But there's a piece of content that really changed that for me in a humongous way. It's a piece of content from Gary Vee, who really is like my just Bible in terms of business. He does not replace my Bible. That's more important than Gary Vee. But he's the Bible to me in business in terms of how I've been really learning and trying to grow in things. And there's a piece of content I came across a while ago that someone asked him a question very similar to what I would have loved to ask him. And they said, I'm having a trouble, in a nutshell, they said, I'm having trouble hiring employees because whenever I hire employees, they don't live up to what I want and they aren't as good as I am. And so they keep going through more and more employees. And what he said that just so resonated with me is, and I won't use language he did, but he said, basically what you're struggling with is you have a big effing ego. And that hit me in an amazing way because I actually realized how true that was. I set this, and the way that he said it too, is that you're setting this arbitrary line that someone has to meet. But because you're the one that made that line, nobody can actually meet it. No one will ever be as good as you think you are at something, even though they may be way better at it. When you set the line as the owner or as a person that has an ego, when you set a line of where people need to meet to make you happy, they never, ever, ever will actually meet that line because internally you're the best. And because you're the best, you don't think anyone else can be as good as you are. And when I heard that, it changed in such a huge way to me because I realized that that's what it was. Because then the next thing he said to them is, are they not living up to the expectations of clients, or are they not living up to your expectations? And then she said, they're not living up to my expectations. And that's when he talked about the ego thing. And I'm realizing that just because I think it needs to be a certain way and what my maybe 100% marker is, someone else doing it at their 85% or at what you think is 85% still may be really good. And then sometimes it may be even better because they may have ideas that you don't necessarily think are right, but who's to say you're always right? But I'm trying to get better at not micromanaging everything. Let them make some decisions and let that be the final decision. Because I also think there's growth in when someone is allowed to make the decision entirely for themselves and then the results happen, that can help them. If the result happens and it's really good, it may help me by realizing, hey, that's not what I wanted, but it worked. Or vice versa, you give them the privilege to say, you know what, I don't agree with that, but you do, I'll let you do it. And then results don't come from it. It actually helps bring them down to the reality of, okay, you know what, I wanted to do things my way and it didn't work. And so all stuff that I'm going through like crazy, but I'm realizing just how unbelievably important it is to have people that you are equipping and building your team because you can't do it yourself.